We're live. That was a quick one. Yay. How's everybody doing? It is Thursday. It's towards the end of September already. Where did the month go? Always great to do these Thursday chats. Thanks for joining me, whether it's for the first time or if you're a regular. We talk to people in the stand-up paddle and greater paddling world about their story, what they're up to. Boy, we have a lot to talk about today with someone who's all the way in Germany where it's 10 p.m. So she's a really good sport about this. But wanted to do a quick mention that we're thinking about. I'm wearing a safe over the water. I forgot what these things are called. That was made by Victoria Burgess, who lives in Florida, who did mark herself safe. But we have lots of paddling friends in Florida. It's a state of water. But right now, a lot of it is underwater, which isn't good. So safety for everybody in Florida, and then later it's supposed to whip back around over the ocean and hit some other states. So stay safe, everyone. I know I have friends who are there from out of state and are at a Seychelles clinic, and they're having a lot of fun. And that's good to have fun, but still be safe, okay, you guys? Hello from Spain, Maya. So good to have people from all over the world. So I don't want to waste too much time because Tanja Ecker just did an amazing thing. She won the 11 City Tour. It's the 5-day race. I think we've talked about it here, but we'll delve in deeper. But she does so many things in stand-up paddling, races, all kinds of levels. I don't know if she considers her just an ultra, but it's at the pinnacle, a 5-day race. Wow. Another one going on, the 650 in the United States right now. That is another one of those long ones. But wow. That's just such an exciting accomplishment, but she's already done a whole bunch of other great stuff too. So talking about her photography, the social media, crazy socks, she's going to explain that. I've never fully understood what that means exactly. But excited to have one of her nicknames, I think she has maybe a few, joining us. Let's see if we can get this to work. This is always that moment of truth. Hey, Ethan. Hey, yeah, it worked.
Hello.
I can hear you too. Good. Thank you for doing this, Tanja. You are such a good sport to stay up late. It's 10 p.m. there in Germany, I know. So, and hopefully some of your friends there in Germany are there too. But I know we have a whole bunch of people from all over the world who are tuning in. First off, congratulations. Wow. You accomplished such a major thing by winning the 11 City Tour. And I think it must be really special to you because you've been a part of it in so many ways. But I want to talk about that accomplishment. Also, happy belated birthday. It was just your birthday right afterwards, right?
Yeah, last Sunday.
Last Sunday, great. Well, happy birthday. So we didn't use the picture, but one of my favorites was kind of, you had a couple pictures that they caught of you like actually realizing you won. So I assume close to the finish line and realizing you're the first woman over the line. And then just you like this, on your board. So talk about the feeling of that, winning something like that, a 5-day race.
Yeah, it was very, very special and super emotional for me because it was already the 5th time I did the 5-day 11 City Tour, and and I also work the whole year for the media team, so I'm pretty connected to the whole event. And I never thought I'm going to win this race this year, and we had really tough conditions. So luckily Petronella and I paddled a lot of the time together, and but she's super strong. So I never thought I'm going to win this, but
you did.
And then it was just overwhelming. And then seeing my friends Ella and Aukie swimming in the water to the finish line, and then also when I received the cross, there was a really emotional moment.
I bet. So special. Well, yeah. You've even pulled me and involved me a little bit, and I still haven't done it yet. This didn't end up being the year. But both you and Petronella had just been in Poland racing like right before, all kinds of different races and also in some tough conditions. So that makes it, to me, even more impressive what you've done. But go back and tell people, because I just think it's such a unique and really special race, what the 5 cities, what that 11 cities 5-day tour is all about.
It's a 5-day race which is kind of special because you pedal. Yeah, it's 204 kilometer in 5 days. So it's more or less 48. Yeah, around 40K every day. Only the last day is a little bit shorter. And yeah, so you pedal around Friesland and pass 11 cities. So it's coming from the ice skating, which is kind of famous in the whole Netherlands. And Anne-Marie started, I think, 2009. She did the first time on a stand-up paddleboard, and since then the event is running. So it's now the 14th edition. And yeah, even the last 2 years with all the restrictions, it was still happening. So yeah, it's more than a race. It's a challenge. It's an adventure. It's something special.
Yeah, I usually try. I didn't have any shirts with anything in German, so I put adventure because adventure is what I think of when I think of you. And it is, that's what I think is so special about destination races and these ultras is the whole thing. You know, we talk about community and the people, but this one also has this huge history behind it of the ice skating. It's already in its 14th edition, which is, again, those are the oldest races, are the ones that have, and very few have kept going like this one has, which is super, super impressive. And again, you're a part of the team that has kept it going, which is wonderful. So
Yeah.
that's fantastic. How on earth do you train for a 5 day, 40K a day type race?
Yeah, it's takes a long time preparation basically, because you need a really good base, endurance base, and then you also have to prepare everything that is around, like the food, the the drinking during the race. So it's also more about this part, because you are out. Yeah, I have like 5-6 hours, but the people who takes the longest are pedaling a day 8 to 9 hours, so it's quite a long time. Uh,
Yeah.
so you have to prepare the food, the water, then also the recovery, which is really important. So yeah, basically, it's the most important thing is to train your body on the daily. Yeah, that it's has to do something every day. So it's you can prepare yourself paddling every day, or do sports every day, so you get into this rhythm that you will be challenged every day. And then it also really helps to go out in every kind of conditions, so also in rain and wind, because in Friesland the wind changes like every minute more or less, so it really helps to prepare for everything. Yeah, and then most of the preparation is done in the head. So I think the mental part is like 80% during the race. When it's getting hard and it starts to hurt, it's the mind that keeps you going. So a good mental preparation is also very important.
Yeah, such a good point about the mental part of it, but in this even more than I think some other races, because that little voice
Yeah,
that talks to you, the
yeah,
negative side, um, is bound to creep up, I bet, quite a bit. But the other type of preparation, this is not a race you can just jump into, like some short, distance one or some of the other ones. Absolutely requires preparation. So you had just been doing, you did a sprint and a technical race and a shorter regular type distance race in tough conditions just before this. So do you consider yourself, are you a specialist in ultras, in the long ones, or do you just do every kind of race there is out there?
yeah. Actually, before Poland, I was at the European Championship in Denmark as well. So it was like it yeah, a 4 week marathon more or less, with a technical and a long distance in Denmark, and then straight to the World Championship, where I did the sprint, the technical, and I tried to do the long distance, but it was a little bit out of my comfort zone, and also being aware that I want to pedal the 5 days in the 11 city tour. I think now looking back, it was
Right decision.
decision. Yeah. So Yeah, I don't know, but I kind of don't run out of energy, but I think I just like this ultra racing, and I also like the technical and the long distance. Not so the sprints, but yeah, at the moment I do everything also to gain experience, but I'm not into sprinting. So yeah, it's the ultra distance. It's something special, and I like to challenge myself, and so that's why I like it, and I think that's also something I'm good in, because I am. Yeah, I'm
And
not.
you talked about the mental game, and not everybody has that. I think people forget that.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's something I really like, and so that's also why I come back every year.
Great. And 5 times, congratulations on winning the fifth. And that is really special if you didn't really see that necessarily in your future. What a wonderful, but well-earned surprise. So it's not like it just happened. You obviously put in all the work and everything. So it's interesting. Your skills are wide and varied. You also do social media for them and do that part of the media team. So that must be interesting working in that whole world. And even, you're young, but still things change every year and how accounts work. And you really have to be pretty flexible. But have you found that? What are some of the things that have worked really well? Because the word is out. I think you guys have done a great job of sharing um, about the event and getting it to be really a global something people have on their the map, and something that they really have on their list of things they want to do. How is that social media work?
Yeah, I really it. We have a really nice team I like to work with, and it's also we have different kind of ways of working, and also different backgrounds. So I'm the only one who actually does the sport. So that's really fun. But I really like to work with them, and we also work for the Sub 11X. So that's kind of the international version of the 11 City Tour. So yeah, it's really fun, and I like to get in contact with new people and people who maybe do the 11 cities for the first time, and then like we have different series, and one is called the Road to Sub 11. So I really like to see how people prepare and read their development. So I really like it.
Yeah, I think you guys have done a great job. And I think you're really role models in that you should talk about a big event like this all year, not just wait till a month before. You can't do it with something like this, especially. But I think other races that want to be on the map and want to keep going and be sustainable need to get the dates out early and talk about it and talk it up and talk about all the little details to help people realize they could do it too. So you mentioned, and I want to go into more depth. So one of the things that happened with the 11 City Tour is the expansion, and you've done some really interesting things. So talk about 11X and what that means and what's happened there.
Yeah, the X stands for anything that is a part of a place in the world. So for example, what is coming up now in November is the Sub 11 Islands in Thailand. So this is kind of an island hopping in Thailand, and in the beginning of May we had the Sub 11 sites in Berlin. So sites is basically for sightseeing, and then there is an event planned in Croatia, and it's basically it can be in every country. So we're always looking for new countries to arrange an event. So if someone is interested in organizing something, then he definitely should reach out.
Yeah. Talk to Tanja. Yet I think that's just brilliant because it is an intense thing to do the race. And yes, there's lots of us who still want to do it and it can be done. But to take that idea, like, oh, because I mean, you didn't even mention some of the amazing perks on the 11 City Tour, that at the end you sleep on a boat in these canals, and that you get a massage and you have a meal with everyone, and you're going to this new place, this new city every night. That's so cool. But that's, you talked about the sightseeing one in Berlin, going island hopping in Thailand. I mean, who doesn't want to do that? Those of us who love stand-up paddling, you know, you and I are in the racing niche, but we have lots of listeners who maybe don't plan to race, but might really love an expedition, an adventure. And that's definitely what you're planning with 11X. So that's great to hear that you did one already, two more coming up, and that you're open to, if anybody's listening, because there's people from a lot of different countries and you want to help coordinate it and think you have a place that would be good to move around.
Yeah, it's mainly it's the SAP 11X is more focused on the adventure, so it's not a race. So it's for everyone that who can pedal, 20K a day, more or less. It's like the tour at the SAP 11 City Tour. So there's this competition part, but there's also the tour, and the tour has way more participants than the racing scene. And it's about the adventure and about the community and the getting together. And I think that's what makes everyone coming back every year, because they say that you come you come alone and you leave as a family. And I think everyone who have been there can relate to this, because it's like a big family and a big community you want to see every year. So that's one of the main goals of all the SAP 11 events, no matter if in the Netherlands or around the world.
So another one of your skills is photography. You can't do all those things at once. You can't have two hands on the paddle and actually be taking the pictures, but I've seen you have fantastic pictures. I think you could be another Georgia if you weren't racing, but keep racing for now. But when you're not racing, like what type of photography do you like to do? And tell us about that. And can we see it somewhere?
It's I have like a small company for the photography, so I'm focused now on more landscape and also sports photography. So I work for some small tourism agencies in the town where I live. So I make photos for them, like they use it for the hiking pass to promote, or also for the local newspaper. But in February this year, I also had an exhibition with my photography, around the world. So I still can connect my photography with the sports, because the sport brings me to places around the world, and I always have my camera with me, so I take photos.
Take some time to take photos too while you're there. Oh, that's great. That makes a lot of sense. Get to do it all. So that's great that you had an exhibition. Congratulations. So is there a website or something? Can they, the Fearless German, I know you, Tanja Ecker is your, or is it Ecker.Tanja, your Instagram?
The photo website is just tanjaecker.de. So it's very easy, but that's where I show my photography.
And I should know, but I actually don't know what part of Germany you do live in.
It's very south, so it's the Black Forest area, but it's just next to the border with France and Switzerland. So it's in the very south.
That's great. Yeah. So right in the center of Europe, so you can get to all the different places. That's fantastic. So you've had quite a few different businesses. I never quite figured out, but it looks so fun. I loved following Crazy Socks. That was you and Martin coaching, and are you still doing that?
Yeah, it's a company for coaching and also for the distribution of 4 and hippo stick.
Got it.
So it's both. So it's about training and training camps and the distribution for 4 and hippo stick.
Great. So you have done an amazing job of blending things together. So, and you just mentioned you're a brand distributor in Europe also for 404, which is a brand close to me here in Southern California, just up the road, and Hippo Stick. But there's great work to be done there. I think you brought people probably boards at Poland, getting boards around. So it's so wonderful to have there aren't that many brands that actually support the racing scene and that have great race boards. So trying to get them in different places in the world is a huge challenge. So talk about being a distributor, and does that mean a lot of travel too, where you bring your camera and you also race if you can?
Yeah, it's I mean, because of all the challenges we had with the material and also the shipment and everything. Yeah, so the last order we ordered in October and received in August, so it's kind of delayed.
Yeah, yeah,
So yeah, it's a little bit difficult, but we can arrange it with the races, for example, that people can pick up the board there. And yeah, it's starting more or less now in Europe. So the brand for I mean, I use it since yeah, almost 5 years now that they sponsor me personally, but it's in Europe still a small brand, so it's starting to develop now.
yeah, yeah. And you have a huge part in that. Yeah. And I know I mean, I should have mentioned that it's frustrating right now to work with selling almost anything because of supply chain and delivery and
Yeah.
what they've been able to do. But maybe though, I mean, we like to talk about equipment. Do you want to share a little bit about what their newest? I know there's some new boards out. I don't know if you've had a chance to try everything that you don't have yet, but hopefully you will have soon.
Yeah, we the newest board we have now is the new Jump. So it's in development from the Jump of last year, which is way lighter and more robust than the version before. And I know you're talking about the new LCD, but it's not in Europe yet, so we still have the old one. And I didn't try it yet, but I would really like to. But I'm a big fan of the Jump because for Europe it's just perfect because it's a really good board on the flat water, like for the Sub 11 City Tour, but also on the ocean. So I used it also in Poland and in Denmark on the ocean, because you also can surf with it. So I really like it, and it's my favorite board because it's very variable and for most of the conditions.
Yeah. Hey, not to put you on the spot, but I got asked and actually talked to Mike Euker, who does a magazine in German. He said after Poland, some people were very upset about the distance race, which I can understand. The weather was really hard. As part of the team that had to make a decision, we postponed. We tried to find the best time of the day. We had to move some other things which affected people and, squished racing up the next day. So no, it wasn't ideal, but it's interesting. His question was, is stand-up paddling flat water or is it an ocean sport? And I said, neither. It's all water. It's a water sport. So I don't know if you agree with that, or if I think it was some of the understandably Germans and landlocked countries that don't get as much of a chance to be on the ocean. So I'm not sure what the solution would have been in Poland. Full cancellation. Somebody said we should have had it Monday, and I thought, oh my gosh, everybody had plane tickets to leave. I don't know. So you've probably heard though some of the chatter. Like, any suggestions for future races when it's that tough? Because we knew it wasn't for everybody, and everybody is invited to Poland, and yet it's also World Championship, so complicated. Any thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I was just before at the European Championship, which was organized by the European Surf Association. And I think what they did, you can also do for the World Championship, because they planned the whole event over 10 days, I think. Yeah, 10 days. But they also had subsurf, so that's a little bit of a difference. But
Yeah.
I think what can be good for future events, also for the Canoe Association, is to plan the event with at least one day of extra, so you can really shift in case it's bad weather like it happened now in Poland. And I also talked with Mike after Poland, because I also wrote some articles for him. And I think we agreed that this is an option to do. And for me, stand-up paddling is, like you say, a water sport. And what I like about it is that I can do it everywhere. So on a river, on a lake, on an ocean, no matter if it's flat, windy, rainy, you can do it everywhere, every time. So that's what I like about the sport. And I think it's sad if you make it like a sport you can only do on specific places in specific times. So I think it's not the solution to say it's only a flat water or only an ocean sport. And I mean, it's an outside sport, so we are really dependent of the weather. And yeah, I mean, I myself was also not happy with the long distance, but I don't think it would be the right decision to cancel. I think maybe it would be good, or it would have been good, to change a little bit the racetrack. So not that it was more like in the wind, with the wind, and not with the side wind. But yeah.
Yeah, it was a messy one. It wasn't an easy decision, but I really appreciate your input. And that actually, because Mike hadn't mentioned that, I like the idea, even though it's, for some people it's long. I mean, you just said the European one was 10 days, but with surfing. But it's something people, building a day in to have more flexibility actually could make a lot of sense. And because we are weather dependent and almost always outside. I understand some people have done sprints inside of convention centers. That's the only time I think I've heard of indoor activity, some of those shorter types of races. So you really are a Jill of all trades, we would say. You are good at all these different kinds. Interesting to hear that maybe sprinting isn't your favorite, and you see yourself, though, the technical, you like the turns and everything in those, and you love a challenge. And, winning what you did is definitely that side of it. I'd love to also hear a little bit more. I'm still in trying to work on stand-up paddling and linking it together, and the racing side of it. We do have interesting with the surf and the canoe and kayak and the many independent races. And there's a Euro tour in Germany. I assume there's at least two. Actually, I know of at least three organizations. Is that right? And do they talk to each other or kind of work separately? How is that working in Germany?
Yeah, we have three organizations. So there is the GSUPA, that's the Stand-Up Paddle Association. Then we have the Canoe Association and the Surf Association. And they kind of work together, but it's a little bit difficult. And so we also have two German championships, one on the ocean, one on the flat water. So they trying to do something together, but it's still a way to go, I would say. The sub association is trying to bring them together. And there are some incentives to work together, but we're not there yet, I would say. And also in Germany, it's we have the Sub Alps Trophy that is in Germany and Austria, but besides that, we don't have like a series of races what they have in other countries. Like for example, the Netherlands or Belgium or Denmark, they all have like series of 5 to 7 races, and we don't have that in Germany at the moment. So
but it is a very active place for paddling, big population and rivers and lakes and places, islands also. I think of Sony, who's not racing right now, but people who live on, some of the islands that are German, they are German, but maybe live in other places. So definitely some of our early pros, were from wind sports or from surfing sports, and had grown up in unique places that they had really been used to these challenges. So
Yeah.
thank you. That's really interesting. Again, I'm working in the US trying to do this organizing, but I think the more we keep talking about it and understand where everybody is, hopefully we can start making sense of it all and pulling it together and understand how it all works.
Yeah.
um, the coaching. So I don't know how you fit all this in. So you're training yourself, you're doing social media stuff as one of your jobs, you're doing photography, love of it, hopefully making some money, I would hope off of that too. But how do you fit the coaching in? Where does that happen? Do you, again, you were talking about multitasking and doing many things at once. Is it kind of when maybe there's a big event in Germany and so maybe you and Martin go and set up some clinics?
Yeah, it's mainly before some events, but also in the pre-season or on the weekends, or on the holidays. We have, so it's yeah, that's it. Kind of, we try to make it fit to the rest of the schedule. And this year I was also in Sweden doing some clinics there. That was organized by a local, yeah, local canoe place there. So it's really busy during the season. So I have to be very structured with everything. But yeah, sometimes it's a little bit difficult then to train for myself. But I really like the coaching and to see people develop and also get better in their own with their own goals. So it's not even in a race, but also in their own
Right.
wish.
Yeah.
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 So
Well, do
I
you
like.
work, you talked about the mental game. Is that kind of part of your training? Do you talk about that? Because that's such a useful thing. And again, this 5-day race that you won.
Yeah, it depends. So this year I also did a training camp, especially as preparation for the Sub 11 City Tour. So there it was definitely part the mental part and also the nutrition, what to take and how to prepare for this. So that was definitely also a part of it. Yeah.
Yeah. So you've kind of talked about these things, but maybe you could give some really specific tips. Let's say somebody wants to do 11 cities next year. So maybe something about nutrition or the mental game or just top 3 tips on how to start getting ready for it.
First, yeah, I would say you should definitely enjoy and have fun with what you do, because there will be moments where you are maybe not enjoying it anymore. So then you have to bring yourself back to the question why you are doing this. So that is the first thing. You really need to enjoy what you are doing. And then also the nutrition is very important. So really figure out how is your body using energy, and how much energy do you need while doing sports. And that's for everyone different. But I would really test out stuff before, and then see what is good for you. What can your body take. So that is really important. And also the same for the drinking, because only water is maybe not enough. So really try different things. For example, I can't drink stuff with a lot of carbohydrates, so I use a drink that is mainly amino acids and electrolytes. And I drank every morning a glass of salt water.
Mm.
So, and I ate a pineapple every evening, because that's for the inflammation in the whole body. So, but then also during the pedaling, I had something really natural, and I ate it like every 5K to keep the energy level high. But maybe someone else don't need to eat something and it's enough to eat something in a rest point. So that's something you really have to practice, and don't do it during the race, so do it before. And yeah, the third thing I think is to get the body ready to pedal such long distances. And yeah, be aware that the first day, for example, is 48K, and you have to do this 5 consecutive days.
Yeah.
So try to pedal some longer distances before. Also, if it's only 20K, but do this like 2 or 3 times, and see how you can handle this longer distances.
Yeah, getting your body used to that. And I know you do cross training, or at least I see you out.
Yeah,
Maybe it's part of your photography, but hiking and biking and doing other things too.
yeah. I have a dog, and yeah, like I said, I live in the Black Forest, so I go out hiking every day, which is also good for the recovery because it's a low low active
Yeah.
sport, so it's good to get all the worst stuff out of the body. But I also do a lot of biking to build a good aerobic base, but also to get the legs prepared, because the legs are quite important also during pedaling. And in winter I like to go cross country skiing, so I do a lot of sports besides pedaling.
Wow, which is amazing just because I wouldn't think you'd have that much time left when you're training for things like 5-day races. So that's great. You must be outdoors enjoying nature a lot. A huge
Yeah,
part of what you do, I bet. So
yeah.
what have you not done yet? You're pretty young. I actually don't know exactly how old you are, but oh wait, it was a big birthday, wasn't it?
30, a 30 birthday.
Yeah. Well, I'm hitting double that in 6 weeks, but older than your mom probably. But congratulations again. Happy belated birthday on the new decade. So in this decade, where are there some places you've never paddled that you'd like to paddle? Is there some type of stand-up paddling or something related to paddling that you haven't done yet, winging or foiling or something like that? Um, have you done it all?
Yeah, I really like to travel, and I grew up with traveling. I think I have this from my parents. They're at the moment in Canada 6 months, so that's also on my list. Canada, and definitely Australia, New Zealand. I've
Yeah.
been to Australia, but I really like it there. So there are a lot of countries I really want to visit, and then also pedal, of course. And yeah, do a way more surfing as well. I already do that, but it's yeah. So where I live, the ocean is quite far, but I would really like to do more surfing as well.
I don't know where your parents are in Canada, but you need to come south and come surf with us because we have a great area for surfing.
I know, I know. I really would like to come back because last time I was at Danny Ching's place, it was yeah. Sadly, it was interrupted, and I had to leave earlier. So I really want to come back there as well and train with all of you over
Yeah,
there.
please do. I mean, he lives about an hour north, but they've got great training there. But we have quite a few places along the Southern California coast with great training and great
Yes.
surfing. So you will have to come out for that. So you're young, but you've been paddling for a long time. So you started early in your 20s, I would guess. When did you first start paddling and how did you
Uh,
find
it was 2012, or yeah, 2013. I studied. I did my bachelor studies in Munich, and I saw someone pedaling there, and then I thought it's maybe so. That was the first time I was on a stand-up paddleboard, and then when I moved back, yeah, to my hometown, I wanted to do a sports again in a club. So I played before I pedaled. I played for over 10 years. So I wanted to do something in a club again. So I found this club offering stand-up paddling. So in 2017, I discovered the racing, and from there on, it hooked me. So and then everything got more intense, I think 2019. Yeah, so since then I really train, kind of professionally, I would say.
Yeah. Well, wonderful. I'm glad that you found it. We were lucky. So you studied biomechanics or sports medicine or something in this area.
Yeah, I finished my bachelor in sports science, and I'm currently writing my master thesis about the Sub 11 City Tour. So,
Great.
yeah, so my master's in sport management and sustainable development.
Oh, wonderful.
The thesis is about how to make the Sub 11 City Tour more sustainable.
Love that.
So,
In
yeah.
fact, I saw that you're a part of like eco sports, or there's some organization you're a part of that sounds really fascinating that's about doing just that.
Yeah, it's called Eco Athletes, and that's a non-profit organization that brings athletes from all over the world, from any kind of sports, also multiple Olympians, like from everywhere. They bring them together, and I'm the only one at the moment doing stand-up paddling. So if someone is
Expand that. I love it. So eco athletes. It's
yes,
probably has a website.
yeah,
Are,
it has.
are they
And
based in Germany, or where are they? Are they?
no, they in New York, so in the US based, and it's, like I said, a non-profit organization that helps athletes to be more sustainable and eco-friendly in their own life, but also to teach others. And they build campaigns, and then we as athletes are part of it. So that's
Wow, that's great.
open for anyone
Yeah.
who's into a more sustainable life and try to bring this out to the world. So
Right, and that's great that your master's thesis, on the 11 cities, which I assume you started before you won. So you're going
yeah,
to have to add a new chapter in there.
yeah,
But what a great sports management. So putting on events and bringing your eco, as a pro athlete also to so many different levels. Well, they're lucky to have you. And yeah, we need more stand-up paddle athletes, it sounds like, in it. So hopefully somebody listening will jump on that.
yeah.
But so many great things that you're doing in stand up. We appreciate it. I feel like you're an old timer, even though you just turned 30. And I guess you haven't been around the whole time, but boy, you know a lot of people. You've really shared a great message. You've done so well yourself. You're such a great role model with what you're doing in coaching, training, sharing about great events. I want to get back to ultras for a minute because I've kind of heard rumor from, I know Chris Parker kind of started and stopped, but will there be maybe even a way to connect the ultras? And I don't know if we actually have a definition. Is it like 32 miles and over, or because there are some 1 day, very long ones that probably could be in that category, and then some of these multi-day ones. But I think what a great, we talk about series, it could be an international series or at least listing of all the really long distance events for those interested. Is that something that is happening somewhere?
I don't know. I heard that there was the plan to do so, but I
Uh,
don't know. And I
well,
think, or I also heard that the ICF is interested in building a ultra world championship. But I don't know the current status of this
yeah.
project.
Well, I don't either. We will both watch, but I think it will be very
Yeah,
interesting. And we know that 11 City Tour will be definitely a part of anything that has to do with with ultras. But
Yeah.
it's fascinating to me. I haven't heard around the world, but some of these one-day events have all worked out to be about 31 to 32 miles. Sorry, I don't know off the top of my head what that is in kilometers, but Chattajack, there's one in Canada that's like crossing a lake. And I thought, wow, that kind of, you know, how like a running marathon is what, 26 miles. Again, I don't know how many K, excuse me, silly
Yeah.
Americans that
Like,
were still on the system, but yeah.
yeah. A marathon is 42.5 kilometers.
Okay. So this is 50 or something, but it's interesting that that's not the only one, but marathons maybe start at that, or one day marathons almost have like a very specific length that just, I think it's by chance though.
Yeah, I
Some
think.
of the things in a young sport are by chance. You know, how we ended up with a 12.6 and a 40-foot race board is, you know, a whole nother story for another time. So somebody's saying hi to you, Tanya, about Flow. Do you know your Instagram names? Is that a friend of yours? Somebody who knows you. So, so appreciate all that you're doing. Again, huge congratulations. What a big 2 weeks for you. Winning the 11 city tour, having your 30th birthday. Wish you all the luck in the world. You're obviously a hard worker and you have the mental game, which it's funny, as an older racer, I sometimes count on, maybe not younger than you, but maybe when you started, some of the young ones don't always pace themselves. They can't always overcome that voice in their head. But you obviously have done a great job with learning all that. I don't know when your master's thesis is due, but good luck finishing that up. I can't believe how much stuff you have going on. Really a lot.
A lot. A
But it is
lot.
sort of end of season for paddling, right? And the weather's changing a
Yeah.
bit. So.
Yeah. Yeah. Here it's getting cold now, so the season is basically over. But yeah, I just have fun with everything that I do, and that keeps me rolling. So
I think that's great. And I think that's where you have such a great positive energy for those who haven't had a chance to be around Tanya, and fun. I mean, you'd think from what all these accomplishments we just talked about many times, we didn't even talk about being a German champion and these German championships through the years already. And again, it's only been maybe 5 that you've been super focused. But having fun, it does come down to that. You know, we don't stick with things if there isn't some joy in there. So
yeah,
glad that you've got that and got it early, and you seem to be spreading it too. Like even
that's my goal. I really like to bring more people to the pedaling and to enjoy what they do, no matter what. But I really like to inspire them and have fun, and just enjoy what they are doing. So I hope.
you are meeting your goal and then some. So what an inspiration. Thanks for all that you are doing, and thanks for staying up late. I don't know if I could do that, but yeah, you're young, right? You can stay up
Yeah.
late. But appreciate that. I know it's dark there in Germany and probably cold. Do you have like a fireplace going next to you?
Actually, I'm still in the Netherlands, at a friend's place, at Nienke's place. So she's also part of the media crew at the 11 Cities, and there is a fireplace. So it's
Oh,
it's dark.
wonderful.
It's
Yeah.
warm.
So you're missing your doggy. I was going to have you introduce the dog, but
Ah,
another time.
here. He's here.
Oh, your
He's
dog is with you.
Yeah, he's here. He's here in the background.
Okay. Great. Well, thank you for everything. And thanks for everybody listening. Remember, this is Instagram. So right away it goes to IGTV, which is kind of in that reel zone. And then it will get imported to Subconnect's YouTube and mine, KT Outside. So if anybody missed it, so much good information, and they'll want to meet Tanya and know her and follow her racing and her photography and 11 Cities Tour and 11X and all those great expeditions and more. So thanks for your time, my dear.
Thank you.
Hope to
Well,
see you soon. Come back to
yeah,
California.
yeah, I will. That's a plan.
Glad to hear it. Take care. Take care,
Thanks.
everyone. Be
Bye
safe.
bye.